Tunjaviha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jaya Om Vishnu Bhat Paramahamsa Parivraj Kacharya Stuttara Sada Sri Srimad Ridhana Goswami Abhay Charanarinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavarinda ki jai. Grantarat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Good morning to everybody. Happy Sunday. Another week closer to death. Only devotees are laughing at this. Everywhere else I say it's closer to death. Huh? But the devotees say closer to death. Because devotees know. What is humor? They say humor is something that doesn't fully match. So that devotees know we never die. So when we say closer to death, we say ha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Yesterday we did not finish this big purport to verses 16 and 17 because Srila Prabhupada gives the yellow pages, the who is who in the spiritual world and in Dwaraka. So it's very detailed. Yesterday in the matchless gifts I saw this picture of to the right. He's there, right? And yes, and in the center is Brahmananda Prabhu. So Brahmananda Prabhu was one of the very early, one of the first. So to Brahmananda, Srila Prabhupada said that he put into the first canto, he has put everything. He didn't know whether he would be able to write and print especially, of course, more than the first canto. So therefore, in this first canto, which he brought to the USA, that was the book he brought, one book. He says he put everything, all the philosophy, and even a lot of lila. We have a little Chaitanya Charitamrita in front, we have a little Bhagavad Gita summary in chapter 15 and in some other places. So to Brahmananda, he said, he has put everything in the first canto. So that's a very special, when Hanumat Prashak Swami does his Bhakti Vaibhav, he calls this Pada Padma, first and second canto, lotus feet of Krishna. So we sometimes think, is it the left foot or is it the right foot? And some devotees say, no, it's the bottom of his, yes, 19 chapters, 19 symbols on Krishna's lotus feet. So 16, 17, let's chant the verse again, and then we will continue on the purport. Nishamya preshtam ayantam Vasudevo Mahamana Vasudevo Maha Akrurashcho Grasenascha Ramaschadbhuta Vikrama Pradyumnascharudeshnascha Sambo Jambavati Sutta Praharsha Vegochashita Shayana Sana Bhojana. Somebody would like to read also?
Nisamya preshtam ayantam
Nisamya preshtam ayantam Vasudevo Mahamana Akrurashchograsenascha Ramaschadbhuta Vikramaha Pradyumnascharudeshnascha Sambo Jambavati Sutta Praharsha Vegochashita Sayana Sana Bhojana. Ladies? Yeah, yes, please. Go ahead.
Nisamya preshta ayantam
Nisamya preshtam ayantam Vasudevo Mahamanaha Senascha Ramaschadbhuta Vikramaha Pradyumnascharudeshnascha Sambo Jambavati Sutta Praharsha Vegochashita Shayana Sana Bhojana. Ladies, please. Nisamya preshtam ayantam Vasudevo Mahamana Akrurashchograsenascha Ramaschadbhuta Vikramaha Pradyumnascharudeshnascha Sambo Jambavati Sutta Praharsha Vegochashita Shayana Sana Bhojana. You read word for word yesterday, did you? Okay, so we will. I will read the translation and then we will continue the purport. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. On hearing that the most dear Krishna, Preshta, was approaching Dwaraka Dham, magnanimous Vasudeva, Akrura, Ugrasena, Balarama, the superhumanly powerful Pradyumna, Charudeshna, and Samba, the son of Jambavati, all extremely happy, abandoned, resting, sitting, and dining, and ran to Krishna. Okay. So we read about Baladev yesterday. I don't remember. About Sandipani Muni, did we read Baladev? That Baladev also was the classmate? The last paragraph. Maybe I'll read it again anyway. Because you can see Srila Prabhupada put everything here. So some people may have read Mahabharata, some people maybe not. So Srila Prabhupada adds all the information, like a little Mahabharata also is present here. Even though it's quite amazing how he condenses this information. So this is the last paragraph about Shri Baladev. Shri Baladev was also a class friend of Lord Shri Krishna as a student of Sandipani Muni. So that's Avantipur, Ujjain. In his childhood, he killed many asuras, along with Shri Krishna, and specifically he killed the Dhenukasura at Talavan. You just saw Dhenukari passing, so that was an auspicious sign, I guess, there, in the hallway. During the Kurukshetra battle, he remained neutral, and he tried his best not to bring about the fight. He was in favor of Duryodhana, but still he remained neutral. When there was a club fight between Duryodhana and Bhimasen, he was present on the spot. He was angry at Bhimasen when the latter struck Duryodhana on the thigh, or below the belt, and he wanted to retaliate the unfair action. Lord Shri Krishna saved Bhima from his wrath. But he left the place at once, being disgusted at Bhimasen. And after his departure, Duryodhana fell to the ground to meet his death. The funeral ceremony of Abhimanyu, the son of Arjuna, was performed by him, as he was the maternal uncle. It was impossible to be performed by any of the Pandavas, who were all overwhelmed with grief. At the last stage, he departed from this world by producing a great wall, carried him out. So it sounds like a very convenient form of transportation. If you can just produce a big dragon out of you, and he will carry you where you need. We are carried by snakes of subway trains, but we can't produce them from our mouth. And they probably are not as beautiful as Ananta Shesha. Okay, so this was Baldev. Now we still have Pradyumna and three sons of Krishna. Pradyumna, incarnation of Kamadev, or according to others, incarnation of Sanat Kumar, born as the son of personality of Godhead Lord Shri Krishna and Lakshmi Devi Shrimati Rukmini, the principal queen at Dwaraka. He was one of those who went to congratulate Arjuna upon his marrying Subhadra, because we just read that this was a big drama, how Arjuna kidnapped Subhadra and Baladev seemed to be against it. So Pradyumna immediately helped dispel the tension by immediately going and congratulating. So he joined immediately with the congratulatory party. So then the anger was dissipated. Plus, Balaram was shown that it was actually Subhadra driving the chariot, and Subhadra was in love with Arjuna. So it was not something that Arjuna contrived against Subhadra's desire. So then Baldev was pacified. He was one of the great generals who fought with Shalva, and while fighting him, he became unconscious on the battlefield. His charioteer brought him back to the camp from the battlefield, and for this action he was very sorry and rebuked his charioteer. However, he fought again with Shalva and was victorious. He heard all about the different demigods from Naradaji. He's one of the 4 plenary expansions of Lord Shri Krishna. He is the 3rd one. He inquired from his father Shri Krishna about the glories of the Brahmanas. During the fratricidal war amongst the descendants of Yadu, he died at the hand of Bhoja, another king of Vrishnis. After his death, he was installed in his original position. To add some comments, maybe I'll say something here. Om Jnana-timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Yasya Prasadadagyopi Sadhya Sarvagyatam Vrajesa Shri Chaitanya Devame Bhagavan Samprasidatu. May Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, be fully merciful unto me. By His grace, a complete fool can get all knowledge in one moment. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Bhagavatam is the nectarian medicine which cures even the disease of birth and death. In 10.1.4, there is a verse spoken by Parikshit, and in the 7th canto, Srila Prabhupada says that this verse can remove offenses, counteract our namaparad, offenses in our chanting. A famous verse, I think he even quotes this verse in his introduction to his Krishna book, Nivrita Tarshair upagiyamanat bhavausadat shrutramano viramad kautama shloka gunanuvadat puman virajita vina pashugnat. So who will refuse to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, which is nectar to the ear and nectar to the heart, and which is Oshadi, which is the medicine for bhava, repeated birth and death. So who will refuse except Pashugna? So Pashugna is explained as a butcher killing the animals, or a person who's trying to kill their soul, a Mayavadi. And Jiva Goswami gives another meaning, one who hurts others, committing Vaishnava Parad, some other offenses. So three categories will not will not hear Srimad Bhagavatam. Also, the famous verse 2.3.17, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur explains why devotees seem to suffer, may seem to suffer. It's a famous verse, speaking about, you can say, Bhagavatam Ayurveda. 2nd canto mentions Dhanvantari, Ayurveda. So 2.3.17 says, Ayurharati vaipum san udyan astancha yanasau tasyartayat kshanonita uttama shloka vartaye. With each rising and setting, the sun cuts off one day of everybody's life. In Vedic astrology, sun is a krura, or a malefic planet which can produce very harsh results, the sun, in Jyotish Shastra. So, in New York here you sometimes have heat waves. I guess you've just had recently some. And since not that many trees are around, you can feel it. So that's also the sun, even though the sun is the source of life. So the sun, at any rate, moves the time, and with time brings closer everybody's death, except somebody who, yad kshano nita. If you give at least 1 minute of your time to Uttama Shloka Varta, to Krishna Katha, to descriptions of Krishna, then you are exempt. Then the sun does not reduce your life, it gives you life. So 1 moment, 1 minute given to Uttama Shloka Varta. So Varta is an interesting word can mean actions, and usually means actually news. So like yesterday during the Harinam, Hansarupa Prabhu greeted somebody, and this man said, "What's up, brother? What's up?" So, what's up in Sanskrit is Kim Varta. What's up, Kim Varta? What's happening? Varta. What's going on? How are you doing? How are things? Kim Varta. Yes. Akurvata. That's what did they do? Kim Akurvata. Yeah. But Varta sometimes is translated as news. So we hear Uttama Shloka Varta. We hear the news of Uttama Shloka, Krishna, who is described in the supreme poetry. And when Bhaktisiddhantaji, he was publishing a newspaper about, like Srila Prabhupada was printing Back to Godhead. So Bhaktisiddhantaji was publishing a newspaper in Navadvip, and they were asking, how can you write a newspaper? A newspaper, it's a newspaper. There has to be news. How can you write a newspaper about Krishna? What's new about Krishna? So Bhaktisiddhantaji said, well, in the spiritual world, every second is new. We can print a newspaper every moment. Krishna is Nava Yova Yovanam. If you really see Krishna, we can see the new beauty in Krishna every second, every moment. And pastimes are infinitely expanding all the time. So, Uttama Shloka Varta. So if we hear Krishna Katha, then the sun doesn't destroy our life. Time doesn't destroy our life. It builds our eternal life. We are building our eternal life. Kapila Dev says, Jaryatya Shuya Kosha, Nigirna Manaloyatha. Yeah, that's all. Just very short verse. It says, very famous verse, just like the fire of digestion burns the food in your stomach, in the same way, bhakti dissolves your subtle body, and you become free. Because the subtle body is composed of our desires, and this is what keeps us in this material world. And it's very difficult to dissolve the subtle body. Yes. And it's by our desires that we are kept in bondage in this material world. But bhakti gradually digests the subtle body. For yogis, just by force, it's very difficult. But Kapila Dev, bhakti very naturally digests. Like you put some food, you put some pizza in your stomach, and you don't have to meditate, okay, be digested. Okay, now this enzyme go there, this acid go there. It just happens by Krishna's will and arrangement, especially if we are a little younger and didn't abuse our liver. So in the same way, bhakti will dissolve the subtle body, and then we will be free from the karma chains in this material world. But Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, in his commentary there, says that just like fire of digestion does not simply incinerate, does not simply burn the food. By the way, that's how they count the calories. If you see how many calories, yesterday I was waiting for a devotee, and there was a vending machine with drinks, I mean, some Pepsi Cola, something, and on every drink it was saying 120 calories per so many, I think 3 ounces or whatever it is. So they were saying how many calories each product has. They have to indicate. So how do they count these calories? They just take, let's say, a piece of pizza. Originally, how they count it, when they first counted, they just burnt it. They just burnt it and measured the difference in warmth, how much heat this piece of food produced when burnt. Because burning is oxidizing, combining with oxygen, so it's what more or less happens also in the body. So that's how they counted calories. But it doesn't work like this. It's not so simple. They even made study. They took people and they matched people nowadays and in the 80s, people who do the exact same amount of exercise. Like Marcus showing how many steps he did every day. Yeah, and he makes 20,000 steps every day. And then, so you can count how many calories it takes. So they took people and they counted how much you move, how much you do exercise, how many calories you need and spend, and then how much you eat. And they matched with the records from the 80s, with people who exercised exactly the same amount and consumed exactly the same amount of calories. And people nowadays were like 5 pounds heavier than in the 80s, with everything else being exactly the same. So the same amount of food consumed, the same amount of calories expended, but nowadays they gain fat. So in terms of calories, it's the same. In terms of exercise, it's the same. But now they can't convert this into some healthy body. So why? They speculate it's probably because we destroy the healthy bacteria in the gut. So we don't have these healthy bacteria which can provide our immunity. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that fire of digestion does not just burn, that does not simply incinerate, does not simply destroy the food. No, the fire of digestion only converts one energy into another, and if there is something good in the food, then it's taken and assimilated, metabolized and assimilated. And it becomes your muscle, your bones, and all the other healthy things in your healthy body. So he says in the same way, maybe jnana yogis are trying to burn their subtle body, but devotees, and in bhakti, you do not simply burn. Bhakti, if there is something favorable, like you like looking at Radha Govinda, you like to smell the flower, that's our pranayam. You like to dance, you like to hear, you like to think about some pastimes of Krishna. So bhakti takes that and doesn't burn it, it revives and incorporates this emotion into your true body, into your spiritual body. So it digests, and if something is healthy, it incorporates it into your healthy spiritual body. So you are recovering your spiritual body. Like with good food, you are gaining health. Yesterday we went to Divya's kitchen. Yeah? So she is, how many, 35,000 restaurants we have in Manhattan or in New York? So among vegetarian, she's in top 10, and among the healthy vegetarians, she's top 1. Just this in itself is such a nice preaching, right? That devotees can do something so nice. So that food, you can see this food is very nourishing and refreshing. It's not only tasty, but also very healthy. So bhakti takes whatever we perform in devotional service, and if you have some favorable emotions in devotional service, then they become part of our eternal body, and that is saved. So Bhagavatam helps it. So Bhagavatam Uttama Shloka Varta. Bhagavatam is the description of Krishna's pastimes, and so it incorporates all of it into our eternal body. So Pradyumna has been described here as incarnation of the god of love, which is not really correct. How can son of Krishna, one of the Chaturvyuha expansions, be Kamadev, Cupid, love God? It's the other way around. In Chaitanya Charitamrita you can read that there is Chaturvyuha, there are 4 expansions. So Vasudev, Sankarshana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. So in Adi Lila you can read that Pradyumna is in charge of passion. So he is the super soul in the heart of kings, in the heart of Cupid. So he's the super soul in the heart of Cupid. And whoever else is a passionate person in this world. Sankarshan is the super soul in the heart of Shiva, is the super soul in the heart of snakes, super soul in the heart of thieves, and whoever else is under the influence of tamas, or ignorance. Aniruddha is the super soul in the heart of manus, the lawgivers, in the heart of brahmanas, sattvic people. And Vasudev, that's why before lecture we say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We address Vasudev, who is in charge of the nirguna, transcendental consciousness. So what we are doing is not for any of the 3 modes, not for any material purpose. So Vasudev is in charge of the Mahatattva, this avyakta. It's not covered by the false ego. So only in such consciousness we can understand Krishna and advance. So Kamadev was, was burnt by Lord Shiva. Yes. So when Sati, 4th canto, you can read, Sati was insulted by Daksha, and she burned herself. She meditated on the fire element in her body and burst into flames. So Shiva decided, okay, this is too bad. And he goes and he sits and he meditates. So then Sati immediately gets born as Girija, daughter Parvati, daughter of the Himalayas. And she goes to Lord Shiva. And the demigods, they need Lord Shiva, and they need Lord Shiva's and Parvati's son, Kartikeya, to be their general, to protect them from demons. So Parvati goes and she tries to wake up Lord Shiva, attract Lord Shiva. So Srila Prabhupada describes, she's touching Lord Shiva. He doesn't react in any way. Doesn't altogether. He doesn't even come out of trance. She just continues to bring some fruits, bring something what he takes from time to time. So like over millennia, from time to time he comes out of trance and he sees, fruits. He opens, something is there. And then he says, there is some hand. There is some lady. And Kamadev, sent by the demigods, from behind the stone, keeps shooting his arrows. Look, yes, there is this beautiful Parvati, this beautiful girl. So at one moment, Lord Shiva notices, there is a beautiful Parvati here. And then he thinks, what is this? Why am I attracted? And then he sees, there is Kamadev hiding and shooting arrows. So he opens his third eye and burns him. So that's why Kamadev is also called Ananga, Tanonanga, Ananga in our Kama Gayatri, Ananga, because he has no body, his body is burnt. So therefore he's again coming with Pradyumna. And Kamadev's wife is Rati. Rati means attraction, also can mean love. Attraction, attachment and attraction. Rati is also the synonym of bhava, the result of sadhana. So attraction, loving attraction. So she waits for Kamadev to reappear We can read in Canto 10 that as soon as Pradyumna is born from Krishna and Rukmini, so first queen, main queen, and first son, and he's stolen. If you were God, would you allow your first son from your first queen to be stolen? Probably we wouldn't, huh? Somehow Krishna allows this to happen. So Shambhara steals Pradyumna, and what does he do? He throws Pradyumna into the ocean, and then what happens? He's swallowed by a big fish, huge fish. They say these sharks, they just swim with the open mouth. Once there was this, there were some maneuvers of the American Navy, and they dropped a bomb, an ocean bomb, and there was a big shark who just swallowed that bomb, or what do you call it, sea mine, like what they drop into the, and that shark swallowed the bomb and started swimming to the ship with that bomb, and he exploded. And when sometimes they catch these sharks, they find everything inside. What they find shoes, big shoes, they find some garbage, they find of course nowadays they find so much plastic inside, so they just go and swallow. So they can swallow a whole baby, no problem. It's not a fairy tale. If they can swallow a bomb, then they can swallow a baby. And then that shark was caught by a fisherman, and this fisherman brought this fish to Shambhara himself, the demon, who knew that this is his nemesis, this is who is going to kill him. And the cooks, they opened the fish, and they see, oh my God, there is a baby inside. Oh my God, this baby is still alive. And so Rati, who was serving Shambharasura, she adopted Pradyumna, found in the belly of the fish, surviving in the belly of the fish, as her ward to protect and raise. So she raised him. And then as he grew into a young, beautiful boy, she started smiling at him, and he was surprised. He said, I thought you are my mother. She said, actually, I am the eternal wife of Kamadev, and you are my eternal husband, Kamadev. She taught him some Mayavati fighting skills, and then he challenged Shambharasura, and he killed Shambharasura. And then he returned to Dwaraka, to Rukmini's palace, and then Rukmini was happy to see her son coming back, and Krishna was happy, and all the queens were surprised that somebody is looking so similar to Krishna. They even thought this is Krishna. But then they saw, no, there is a little difference. So then they realized, oh, this is that lost son that was stolen. So he came back. So in Krishna Samhita, our Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, this story, when we hear about this story of Pradyumna from Srimad Bhagavatam, it acts as a medicine on our heart. He says, Krishna illustrates, because you can see Krishna in the Gita says, already sakalaneha mahata, yoga nashta parantapa. Yoga has been lost. Yoga is lost. Already 5,000 years ago, he complains. The kings have forgotten what is yoga. So I will tell you, Arjuna, what is yoga. And he teaches bhakti yoga, and he teaches karma yoga. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that this story establishes how Krishna restores, brings back to life healthy devotional sentiment rejected by burnt by dry renunciation. He gives a very fancy explanation there. So in other words, in Bhakti, in Srimad Bhagavatam, we are not just following the dry negation path, which is the general idea of spiritual life, just reject everything. But we have the positive practice. We sing, we dance. Like yesterday we went for this Harinam, and you could see people. I also think this was a very nice idea with the, what do you call this? It's not a rattle, but how? It's shake. Okay, the shaker. Yeah, I think it's a very good idea to give it to people to play for the Harinam. And I don't see there was hardly. I don't think anybody reacted in a negative way. Even these strange people who were doing some drama, Bible drama. They just started chanting more loudly, right? Because we were loud, so they just had to read more loudly. It was some very interesting performance that they were doing there. But they didn't have anything. I don't think they had anything against it. So it's such an attractive, positive process. You sing, you dance, you eat prasadam pizza, or you eat prasadam very Ayurvedic food. You discuss some story, you read some story, you meet with friends, you decorate with flowers, beautiful deities. So Srila Prabhupada says our process, yoga is plus. It's plus Krishna. Everything is already Krishna's. Ishavasya midam sarvam. So yoga is plus Krishna. So he rejects that misconception that yoga is minus, yoga is like just dry, deadening of your perceptions and senses and everything. No, it's plus Krishna. It's refocusing, it's replacing the negative or material with the positive and spiritual, redirecting onto Krishna. That's what yoga is. And then instead of a material kamadev, material lust, material attractions, material emotions, they will be digested and they will be replaced by spiritual emotions, by spiritual attraction to Krishna. And then, as you can see, this verse describes the perfection. That whatever they were doing, bhojana, they were eating, they were shayana, they were sleeping, they were sitting, whatever they were doing, praharsha vega, moved vega by great joy, praharsha. They ran towards Krishna. So this is the desired result. Any one of you have been to Natdvara? Have you seen Natji? I think we have Natji also in New Vrindavan. So very mercifully, Natji also comes here. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, this story is that Natji comes back to save the world by his darshan. So in Natdvara, it's very beautiful to watch how when the conch blows, the local people drop everything and run to the temple. The shopkeepers, they just leave everything, leave the shop, and they just run to see Natji. Yeah. So it's a good practice. It's a good sentiment. And we see this is happening here. Developing taste for Krishna, to run towards Krishna. Finally finish this purport. I don't know who's on Tuesday, but it's going to be probably 19. Okay, so Charudashna, another son of Lord Shri Krishna and Rukmini Devi, so brother of Pradyumna. He was also present during the Swayamvara ceremony of Draupadi. He was a great warrior, like his brothers and father. He fought with Vivindaka, and killed him in the fight. Samba, one of the great heroes of the Yadu dynasty, and the son of Lord Shri Krishna by his wife Jambavati. So she's the third wife, right? Second is Satyabhama. Third is Jambavati. And they waited for Rukmini because Father Bhishmaka said that you may not take any other wife unless Rukmini tells you. So therefore, Krishna also didn't want to, pining for Radharani. You can read in Lalita Madhava. And then he met Satyabhama, and it turned out this is Radharani, hiding in Nava Vrindavan. And then there is a whole amazing story in Lalita Madhava. I remember Harikesh, he was very much against any reading of any books besides Srila Prabhupada's books, until he said, until you finish Prabhupada's books 5 times, don't read anything else. But then he said, well, Lalita Madhava you can read. Because it clarifies what is happening. And Lalita Madhava is perfect. It really cures your heart. If you see the canons, all the canons of how the drama is composed and should be composed, it's incredible how Lalita Madhava beautifully describes. Anybody read Lalita Madhava? Nowadays you can also listen. It's narrated too. So Jambavati, we heard she was recovered from Jambavan. And she was, according to Lalita Madhava and Gopal Champu, Lalita Devi. Samba learned the military art of throwing arrows from Arjuna, and he became a member of parliament during the time of Maharaj Yudhishthir. He was present during the Rajasuya Yagya of Maharaj Yudhishthir. When all the Vrishnis were assembled during the time of Prabhasa Yagya, his glorious activities were narrated by Satyaki before Lord Baladev. He was also present, along with his father Lord Shri Krishna, during the Ashwamedha Yagya performed by Yudhishthir. He was presented before some rishis, falsely dressed as a pregnant woman by his brothers, and in fun he asked the rishis what he was going to deliver. The rishis replied that he would deliver a lump of iron, which would be the cause of fratricidal war in the family of Yadu. The next day in the morning, Samba delivered a large lump of iron, which was entrusted with Ugrasena for necessary action. Actually, later on, there was the foretold fratricidal war, and Samba died in that war. So all these sons of Lord Krishna left their respective palaces and, leaving aside all engagements, including lying down, sitting, and dining, hastened toward their exalted father. First he blew the conch, and they all ran to see Krishna. And when we read about it, we become gradually attracted to Krishna. Even when we read about this very weird story of Samba and joking with the rishis and fratricidal war, so that's also explained, and this also purifies our heart. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Kantovan ki jai. Any points, comments, questions? Yes, Sundaral Prabhu.
Pradyumna is Vishnu Tattva, right?
Who? Pradyumna. Yes, Vishnu Tattva.
What about Kamadev?
Kamadev is not. So.
I'm sorry. I just remember reading some, I don't know where in Bhagavatam, but it says Kamadev is Vishnu Tattva with a material body. And that just blew my mind. Because now, for example, what I'm getting at is brahmacharis, sannyasis, celibates. But the material mode of passion is relentless. Okay, you're scientifically keeping the mind away by shastra, by sound vibration, by practice in so many ways, but everybody else gets pounded by Maya. And I'm thinking, God, this is pretty strong because it's Vishnu Tattva. Kamadev is Vishnu Tattva with the material. That's Bhagavatam. Now, yes, we have to find out exactly where, but I remember that reading about that a long time ago, and it just made sense. The struggle is so much of a struggle because who can go against Vishnu Tattva? But yet still, this Govinda, the origin of everything, says you must. You must. You have to. Because that's his program, is control your senses. So it's like...
Bhagavad Gita 7:14, Krishna says, Daivi hyesha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya. This material energy of mine is divine, Daivi, and she's duratyaya, impossible to conquer. Maya, mam eva ye prapadyante, mam eva ye prapadyante, mayam etam tarantite. But those who approach me, take shelter in me, surrender to me, they can cross over this material energy. So material energy definitely is stronger than jiva. She's unconquerable. Maya is unconquerable. However, she is Krishna's. So the example is given is like, if there is a dog, big, strong dog. So I remember I even saw some training video what to do when a dog attacks you. And these were some martial arts guys. And the coach, he said, you have to offer them your arm. You have to offer the dog your forearm. Then it will bite, and then you can take it by the neck, and then you can control it. But you're going to be bitten. I mean, somebody may think, oh, I will kick this way, that way, but that coach said no. So usually when they know the dog is there, they wrap something around their forearm, and that's what they do. They offer the forearm, and then it bites. So, and if the dogs are trained, what can you do? But they say that Maya is like Krishna's dog. So if Krishna says, leave him alone, she will. I have this experience. I went for a little run in Germany, in Dortmund, where my Vartma Pradarshaka guru lives, and I had some lecture in my ears. So I saw there was a guy, but with a dog, but I didn't pay attention. So I was running, and then I turned, and then I just, even through the earphones, I hear, halt, halt, stop, stop. Something must be wrong. Something must be wrong here. But he says, no, halt, halt. And it's a good German trained dog, huge black dog. So very reluctantly, okay. But he's right here, and he's running. Something must be wrong. He says, no, go back, come here. So the dog left me alone, and he said, sorry. I said, no problem. And then gradually, slowly I went away. So this is the example given, that if you turn to the master, then even though Maya is unconquerable, he will tell Maya, leave him alone. Second canto also describes, that's why Bhagavatam gives so many descriptions of Maya, material energy, and we sometimes think, why do we need to read about it? Creation, again and again, creation. Krishna created like this. But 2.753, Brahmaji says, whoever studies the material world in connection to Krishna, as Krishna's energy. Whoever studies Maya as Krishna's energy, Maya will not put this person into illusion. So if you study her nature as Krishna's energy, she will not put you in illusion. That's the blessing given there. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says that devotees, Vaishnavas, do not hate Maya, do not hate material energy, elements. Why? Because she is a Vaishnavi and material elements are Vaishnavas. And he gives the proof. How do you know they are Vaishnavas? Because Canto 3, before the creation, they all pray to Vishnu. We are your devotees, please help us unite properly in a concerted effort to create properly the material world. So they're all Vaishnavas. So if we are Vaishnavas, if we want to serve Krishna, then with the material eye, we can see the spiritual Lord. With the material ear, through the material ether, on material paper, through the material vibration, we can perceive the spiritual Lord, which is actually impossible. But because they are Vaishnavas, so this is the secret. Only Vaishnavas, especially Gaudiya Vaishnavas, are given this secret that Maya and material elements have two functions. One is clear, to give material experience. Usually we think enjoyment, material enjoyment, but it's not quite correct. You know this joke that I was hoping I will do this and I will enjoy, and I did, and I saw, oops, no, it's not enjoyment, it's experience. I thought it will be enjoyment, but it was experience again. Good judgment comes from experience, and a lot of that comes from bad judgment. So, experience of material experience is one function, but the other function is apavarga, connecting to Krishna. So material elements can connect us to Krishna. The mind, the eyes, the ears, everything they have this capacity. They can. It's inbuilt. It's hidden. Like Prabhupada says, you can use electricity to heat, you can use electricity to cool. So in the same way, material energy, we can use, she's eager, all the material elements can recover, can manifest their Vaishnava nature and be offered to Krishna, be connected to Krishna. And then, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Goloka Bhaya, I will see Goloka here. You will see Goloka here. Then, Mahatmanas Tamam Bharata, Daivim Prakriti Mashita. Who are Mahatmas, Prabhupada says in Upadeshamrita, are those who take shelter in Radharani, in Daivi Prakriti, in the divine energy. And then, under her shelter, we can connect things to Krishna.
There's also, specifically on that point of having two functions, there's this, I don't know exactly where the verse is, I think it's third canto, I think it's around, well, purity is, anyway, it's the description of the ethereal element. The ethereal element, just like you're saying, all the
sound,
Vaishnavas, and
that everything comes from the sound.
yeah, so in this verse, this is the Bhagavatam, it's described that the ethereal element within your body, it circulates your life air and your blood. So these are completely necessary things. But that same material element outside your body is responsible for connecting you to the objects of the senses. So that
double function.
Exactly. Material and spiritual. In other words, they are two distinct functions. So therefore, outside the body, this thing is directly the energy of Maya. Directly.
So by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we have Srimad Bhagavatam and we have the holy name, so that we can consciously connect, and these two go together. By reading the Bhagavatam, we learn how to successfully, effectively, and